Hi, I'm Linda. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia, and I wanted to show you something really more of a tip than anything, or a few tips on how to use the beautiful new red glitter embossing powder that we have in our holiday catalogue. That's the 2016 catalogue that was released just this month, September, and I just love so many things in it, but this red embossing glitter is just beautiful. So I wanted to show you how I got this effect, and anyone can do this. If you can emboss, you can do this, but I've got a few tips that might make it easier for you. A couple of things. First of all, the red embossing glitter comes in this little pot, $10.50 I believe in Australian dollars, and it's very shiny, very pretty. Okay, first tip, give it a good shake before you start. You want to make sure that all the glitter and embossing elements are actually combined well, okay, and that will give you a better result. You can see I've been happily making cards here today, so I'm just making a few square cards like little thank yous. These are actually going out for my online orders for last month, but they're just kind of cute. When you go to use embossing powder of any kind, including this one, you need to make sure you use a sticky ink, so a pigment ink rather than a water-based ink. So the classic inks that Stampin' Up has will not work for embossing, and neither would the ombre ink pads. Okay, you need something that is actually going to provide you with something for the powder to stick to. So I've used Versamark. You could also use white craft ink, that would also do the job. When you're doing it though, you're going to get quite a white effect. Possibly for a video like this I probably should have done that because you'd be able to see it easier, but I do prefer to use Versamark when I'm embossing. So I'm really making sure that I've inked it up well. My stamp is nice and shiny, so I know that it's ready. And this is actually, I've cut this paper to make the little square cards. I've cut this paper to 9.5 by 9.5 centimetres, so it's a little bit less than 4 inches. I'm thinking probably, I should double check for you and tell you exactly. So I'm just stamping this in the middle and just give it a good old press. I usually, when I'm stamping, I very often use a piecing mat underneath my work because it does give me a better solid image, especially with a more solid stamp. I didn't stamp that very well in the middle at all, but anyway, for the purpose of this video it's still going to be fine. So now I've got my sticky ink, okay, and what I'm going to do is I always use, when I'm embossing, okay, I use another little container, any kind of container as long as it's big enough for your card to slip into. So in this case it fits in just like that, but you know, a Chinese takeaway container or something, and it just provides you somewhere for the ink to go. Be really liberal with it and apply it all over your image. Now normally when I'm embossing, you can see I've done half of it, I'm just going to do the other half. When I'm embossing, I like to really give it a good tap and flick over the back of it. Now with this particular glitter embossing powder, I don't want to lose any of that beautiful glitter, and if I flick, the first time I did it, I flicked it and a lot of embossing powder came off. Okay, so it didn't look nearly as glittery, so I'm actually not going to flick it. Okay, I'm just going to very lightly tap. And the other thing I always do is I keep a little brush handy, okay, and I just get rid of any bits of glitter that are anywhere that I don't want them to be. The colour I'm using here for my background is Tip Top Taupe, but you could use any neutral background to get this effect. I think possibly the whites are maybe too smooth, less porous, but vanilla and, for this particular colour, vanilla and crumb cake would work well, but I really like the Tip Top Taupe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go off camera for a second and get my heat tool. There it is, and I'm going to use it. I'm just going to pull this out of the way. I'm going to use it straight onto my piece. Okay. Now I'm actually normally don't do this on camera. I speed it up because it's pretty boring watching someone heat emboss. But when I'm doing this, I can actually see as soon as it starts to heat, or the embossing starts to turn, it actually is glittering a little bit more, and I can see that it's setting because it's glittering as I do it. Okay, I just want to stop there for a moment. Okay. Now this could be really hard to see on video, but if you can't see it, you're gonna have to take it my word for it. The bit that I've done has lightened up a little bit, so that is different. If I was using, say, white embossing powder, I would expect it to go more white when it's heated. This one goes a little bit lighter, so a little less red. It's still very beautiful, but I can see that this side here is darker than this side, and that means this side is not yet done. Okay, so I need to continue until I see it all lighten up and all sparkle a little more. So continuing. Okay, it's coming up nice, it's sparkling. So it is harder to see the red glimmer, the red glitter. It's harder to see when it's really done than, say, the metallics. The silver and the gold and the copper, really easy to tell when they're done because they really go very bright. This doesn't change a lot. It's a slight change. It is slightly lighter and brighter, not so much the dark red. Now, if I touch it too soon, it will not be quite set. Now, it's almost set now. It's not coming off on my finger. But I have found if I touched it immediately, it actually was still a bit sticky. If you just give it a minute or two to set, you'll get a better result. So here's some I have already done. You can see I've been busy making these. Okay, when I rub my finger over it, it doesn't come off at all. Okay, so the glitter is not coming off, which is fantastic, because there's nothing worse than, unless you're trying to prank somebody, a lot of glitter coming out of their card. Okay, and this one I just did, yeah, that's nice and dry now. Okay, and the glitter's not coming off. So you know it's heated properly when the glitter is not coming off. Finish your card however you like. In this case, I stamped several of these medallions. The set is called Frosted Medallions. It's really beautiful. I really love it. It's one of my new favourite sets. It's this one here. You can see I've half opened it, and it's this one. See, it's got the Happy New Year, the best is yet to come, wishing you the happiest of days. It's really, and a little verse here and another little medallion here, but I love this big one. I just think it's gorgeous. Alright, so that's the card I did. I did it on Whisper White thick for a card base, and I did a piece of real red underneath that to highlight the edges. Same thing with this one, Whisper White, and then I've done a real red piece around the edge, and then Tip Top Taupe cardstock for the background where I've put the frosted medallion stamp with the glitter. I hope you like it. I'm having a lot of fun with these, and I hope you will too. If you wish to order any of the products and you're in Australia, you can do that through my website, and I'll put the address in the comments below. Thank you guys. Have fun. Bye.